Federal Bureau of Investigation, the local office in North Carolina, has declined to file charges in the case. Justice delayed could become justice denied because every murders citizens overseas and then flee back home. And the next steps for us are to continue to put pressure on the U.S. authorities to prioritize the.
It's been months of online campaigns and demonstrations, but Shanquella's lawyers are hitting roadblock after roadblock. It's like they can't catch a break when it comes to getting the Cabo 6 charged, but here's where things take a shocking turn. The FBI, yes, you heard it right, the FBI has decided to play the sneaky card. They're withholding some crucial documents from Robinson's lawyers. So what exactly is going on? Make sure you stick around to find out. The FBI has decided to play the secretive card and is refusing to spill the tea on the autopsy results to Shanquella's devastated family. Can you believe the audacity? But from what trusted sources are revealing, Shanquella's family is not taking this lying down.
They're not deterred. There's still a path to justice, and the family recognizes that we've had to carve our own, essentially carve their own path to justice.
They're demanding answers and transparency from the authorities, and they want to see those coveted autopsy results with their own eyes. Can you blame them? But here's where it gets even more weird. As of now, it seems like their hopes of uncovering the truth through the autopsy results are dashed. Why, you ask? Well, brace yourself for this bombshell. The FBI has cold-heartedly turned down the family's plea and is flat out refusing to release any documents.
But because there's an FBI investigation underway, there's very little that we can say.
The FBI says we cannot release the documents to you because the case is still open, because we are waiting for documents to be translated to English that we received from the Mexican authorities, Suanne Robinson told the U.S. Sun. She then continued, which, again, red flags everywhere because you've made a decision in the case. You've announced the decision publicly to the family and to the public, but you're saying the case is still not closed and admitting that some of the documents from the investigative file that arguably would affect your decision to charge have not been fully translated. So the family is deeply disappointed. They're concerned, obviously, about the red flags and the lack of transparency in the investigation, but they're not deterred. There's still a path to justice, and the family recognizes that. In case you don't recall, the FBI had already released a statement that basically claimed that they would not press any charges. Based on the results of the autopsy and after a careful deliberation and review of the investigative materials by both U.S. attorneys' offices, federal prosecutors informed Ms. Robinson's family today that the available evidence does not support a federal prosecution, the FBI said in a statement. The death of Ms. Robinson has been incredibly difficult for her family and the community. As a matter of policy, federal officials generally do not issue public statements concerning the status of an investigation. However, given the circumstances of Ms. Robinson's death and the public concerns surrounding this investigation, it is important to reassure the public that experienced federal agents and seasoned prosecutors extensively reviewed the available evidence and have concluded that federal charges cannot be pursued. The FBI had apparently made it crystal clear that they were done pursuing this investigation, so it makes absolutely no sense why they're now playing coy and refusing to spill the tea on the autopsy documents. Seriously, what are they hiding? Suanne is onto something here. Why would the FBI backtrack on their own words? It's like they're waving those red flags in our faces, daring us to uncover the truth.
It's not giving undetermined. It's giving there's a video and now you're telling us something else, not to believe our.
Anyway, Suanne also shared that Shanquella's family is planning to return to Washington, D.C. on May 19th, 2023, which will mark the 200th day since Shanquella's death. There, the team of lawyers and family members will again demand diplomatic intervention. There should be a level of urgency, a level of prioritization by the U.S. authorities that just isn't there yet, Suanne said. We all saw what happened on the video, and we are demanding that U.S. authorities step in and prioritize the case and allow the extradition process to flow, allow Mexican authorities to prosecute the person they've identified as the aggressor in Mexican courts. Despite the setback, the family isn't giving up. We're still encouraging and grateful for all the platforms that are still saying Shanquella's name and not giving up on the case because we're not giving up on it, Suanne said. In March, the heartbroken family's legal team wrote a lengthy letter to President Biden demanding that the direct aggressor in the beating video be extradited to face charges in Mexico. The president or the Secretary of State must step in and ask for the extradition of the suspect or prosecute the case stateside, the letter from the family's attorneys read. The 18-page letter also included details from Robinson's autopsy and previously unseen prosecutor and police notes. We don't want to leave any room for the administration to say we don't know about the case. We didn't have the details. We didn't understand what the family ask is. Because we need a high level of diplomatic intervention, we sent the correspondence to the highest diplomats in our country. In addition to this, Suanne recently traveled to Mexico to check in on the status of the case and advocate for the Robinson family after sending a letter to the White House in March demanding diplomatic intervention. She shared that the investigation into Shanquella's death has been completed in Mexico and that an extradition packet was handed to the U.S. government. She and Shanquella's family continue to plead with U.S. officials for action in the case, which has been deemed femicide, a term used by Mexican police to describe the homicide of a woman on account of her gender. The lawyer called the trip a fact-finding mission in the letter to the White House, which was obtained by the U.S. Sun. It was a surreal experience in the sense that I've been an attorney for almost 17 years. I'm a former prosecutor, criminal defense attorney, Suanne said. I have never had to physically go to another country to investigate on behalf of any family, so it was unreal in that regard because the lengths that this family has had to go through while trying to grieve a loved one, but also seek justice on behalf of the loved one at the same time. It's a very heavy burden. I always say that I'm amazed at how they've put their shoulder to the plow to really push this forward. Meanwhile, the Mexican government issued an arrest warrant for Dejanay Jackson, who was a direct aggressor, in a video taken of Robinson being brutally beaten before she was found dead at the villa she was sharing with friends. But despite authorities claiming that they're working with U.S. officials on the extradition, there has been no arrest in the case. In any case, Suanne Robinson and fellow attorney Ben Crump also compared the apparent lack of process in the investigation into Shanquella Robinson's death with the immediate response to the kidnapping of 4 Americans in Matamoros earlier this year. The FBI's response to the kidnapping demonstrates that the U.S. authorities and the federal police agencies are not doing all that they could do in Shanquella's case, Suanne Robinson previously said. Obviously, U.S. officials know how to have that high level of intervention with the appropriate Mexican authorities because they did it immediately for the recently kidnapped Americans, she continued. Well, the FBI may have turned a blind eye, but the public has had enough and they're taking matters into their own hands. Can you believe it? Just the other day, some brave individuals confronted the prime suspect, Dejanay Jackson, right on the street. Talk about intense. But here's the twist. Dejanay didn't just cower away or deny anything. Oh no, she reciprocated with a flurry of vicious punches. It was an all-out brawl right there in the street. Meanwhile, the online fandom is buzzing with support for the Robinson family. They've become the talk of the town as fans from all corners of the internet rally together in their defense. And boy, are they not holding back when it comes to calling out the government for their lack of willingness to lend a helping hand in this case. The outrage is palpable. It wouldn't be the first time the FBI did a cover-up, one person commented. Another one added, honestly, I'm tired of this story. No one is doing anything. She's not getting any justice. All this evidence, but people still out and about. It makes me angry and also tired. A third one wrote, come on now and let's be honest. From time we knew one of the females had a prestigious parent who was besties with a member of government. We knew this case was going nowhere. And a fourth person added, the document is in Spanish. Not going to be that hard to translate. How stupid do they think we are? It appears that the FBI's reputation for swift justice in cracking cases doesn't apply to Shanquella. Despite their track record, the system seems reluctant to bring her the justice she deserves. It's a perplexing situation that leaves us questioning the motives behind this disparity. Why is Shanquella's case being treated differently? Anyway, that is it for this video, folks. Goodbye.